Hello, a very warm welcome to Middle East Matters. I'm Sanam Shantier. Coming up on this week's show, it's a disputed referendum that's given Recep Tayyip Erdogan near dictatorial powers. But what does the yes vote mean for Turkey? We'll take a look on today's programme. We also bring you the Beirut-based NGO March, who's encouraging reconciliation between two warring neighbourhoods in Lebanon. Plus, Iranian transsexual actor and director Saman Arastou joins us on Middle East Matters to talk about his country, which performs more sex change operations than any other except Thailand. But first, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has declared victory in a contested referendum that will significantly expand his powers. Catherine Clifford takes a look at the fallout of the yes vote.
Marching through Istanbul, these protesters vowed their fight wasn't over with Erdogan's referendum victory. Opponents say the constitutional changes voted in give too much power to a man who's shown increasingly autocratic tendencies, and many analysts agree.
This system has very few, if any, checks and balances, has no concern with accountability of the executive branch of the government, the president and the ministers assigned to his cabinet, and under these circumstances, democracy and democratic performance of the country will suffer further.
The implications of the result will be felt quickly, with some immediate changes to the constitution due. These include the repeal of military courts, the restructuring of Turkey's board of judges, and the annulment of a law that requires the president to break ties with their party, meaning President Erdogan can rejoin his AKP party or even lead it. Further changes will mostly come around elections planned for November 2019. The job of Prime Minister will be scrapped, and the President from then will have the right to appoint ministers and senior government officials, to appoint 12 out of 15 judges to the Constitutional Court, to set the state's budget, and to issue decrees and declare states of emergency. One major issue is being closely watched from overseas in the wake of the vote. Whilst campaigning, Erdogan said he would back a law making the death penalty legal in Turkey once again. This would effectively bring the country's long-running EU bid to an end. Addressing supporters in the wake of his victory, he quickly returned to the subject. Then on Monday, he said the issue could be put to another popular vote.
For 54 years, what did they make us do at the EU's doorstep? Wait. We will sit down and talk, and we can hold a referendum for the EU bid too.
Some analysts think the president will focus on relations with countries like Russia to keep the EU at arm's length.
As a NATO member country, Turkey cannot completely remove itself from the Western world. Developing its relations with Russia would be a card Turkey could play to check and balance against the European Union.
If Turkey's EU bid is off the table, the two still have a major interest in cooperating. While Europe needs Turkey to help control the number of migrants reaching its shores, Turkey needs Europe to keep its economy in check. 50% of Turkish exports head to Europe, and the bloc accounts for 75% of direct foreign investment in the country.
At least 68 children were among 126 people that were killed in a bomb attack on buses on Saturday, carrying evacuees from besieged Syrian towns. That's according to activists. Others were aid workers and rebels guarding the convoy. Photographer and activist Abdelkader Habak was at the scene of the blast. He decided to put his work aside and start rescuing the injured. His photo made headlines around the world. More than 1,000 Palestinians in Israeli prisons joined in a hunger strike on Monday, demanding better conditions. Israel has said it will not negotiate with the prisoners if sustained. The strike, led by Marwan Barghouti, a Palestinian leader jailed during the second Palestinian uprising, would be the largest in recent years, and it could heighten Israeli-Palestinian tensions at a time of renewed attempts to restart stalled peace talks. Tripoli, Lebanon's second largest city, is a mirror of the Syrian crisis. For almost a decade, the Sunnis of Bab al-Tabane and the Alawites of Jabal Mohsen have been at odds. In 2014, a truce was imposed by the Lebanese army, but much was already shattered. Today, under an initiative by one NGO, 80 former militiamen work hand in hand to renovate the shops they once helped to destroy. Our correspondents went to meet them.
This morning, Ahmad, a young Sunni, and Ali, an Alawite, are going to work on a renovation project located on Syria Street. These childhood friends became enemies during the recent clashes opposing their two neighborhoods. Today, as they paint side by side, they remember how they fought each other.
I swore on my parents I tried to shoot him down, but I missed.
Please, let's not talk about this.
You remember when I tried to shoot at you, Ahmad?
Yes, it happened once. I was going from one street to another and he was shooting at me, but he missed. The politicians destroyed everything.
They sure did. They'll always find a way to make us kill each other.
In 2014, the Lebanese army was deployed and the fighting stopped. The NGO March then stepped in to try and bridge the gap between the two communities. Their latest initiative brings together former militiamen to renovate 100 shops right on the front line.
At the beginning, I was scared and excited at the same time. The first time I met the guys from Bab Tabane, I came with a weapon. I thought they wouldn't be able to forgive me, and that it would be hard for me to forgive them.
We all had weapons, without exception. Then, after a few meetings, we weren't even carrying a knife anymore. We were saying that their political party wanted to kill us, to slaughter us, and they were saying the same about us.
At March's local bureau, the head of the NGO is putting her final touches for the street's official inauguration. But the situation remains volatile, so she coordinates closely with the army.
We have no control over political decisions, so we can't say if the fighting will resume or not. But what I know is that hundreds of young people and their families who would have participated before won't do it this time.
The young people who work on the renovation project earn about $500 a month. In a region where a third of the population lives below the poverty line, this initiative also aims at boosting the local economy. But for some, this isn't enough.
It's a drop of water in the ocean, nothing more. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're mocking people, that's all. We don't want them to paint over the walls. We want jobs.
Syria Street will continue its transformation nevertheless. 80 new shops are scheduled for renovation before the end of summer.
To Iran now, a nation of many paradoxes. While it is largely conservative, it made transsexuality legal in 1987 after a fatwa was issued by the country's late revolutionary leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The procedure's even subsidized by the government. Despite this, it is still a taboo topic among many ordinary Iranians. To raise awareness, one actor and director for whom the subject is very personal is taking to the stage. And he joins me in the studio today, Saman Arastou, all the way from Tehran. Thanks for speaking to us. Now, you were born female and underwent a sex procedure 9 years ago. This is perfectly legal in Iran, but did you face many challenges at the time?
No one is born male or female. We become women and men. So I have a problem with this question. I had a procedure 9 years ago, a physical surgery. However, my personal identity has always been a transsexual. I was born transsexual. I wasn't born a woman or a man. I was born a transsexual. There were a lot of challenges, as there are for everyone. I had my own challenges, not when it came to the workplace, but regarding my family. Because I wouldn't tell them that I'm transsexual, and they would look at me and wonder what I am.
So the Iranian government subsidizes the procedure. Does that at least remove the financial burden?
The government doesn't provide a large amount of funding, but they do provide the permits. They also provide psychologists, psychiatrists. Then you have to chase the legal documents and courts. And there are a lot of other elements to this. But there isn't enough money. For some, the families help out. For others, they have to work and make money to pay for the procedure. But what's more important than money is understanding one's own identity. Once they're more aware of themselves, they can fight for their rights all over the world, even in France, Germany, the US. The subject of transsexuality is not open, and it's not just about Iran.
Now, what kind of reactions as an actor, as a public personality, do you get when you are on a stage performing, and that's why you're here in Paris?
When I'm on stage, how people react to me is great, because I believe in myself as a human being first and foremost, and secondly as an artist, I've had fantastic reactions. I had one performance in Tehran 3 months ago. I had a great connection with my audience. It had an impact on the families of transsexuals so that they can understand them better, support them better. That's very important to me. The human element of my profession is vital to me. Thankfully, the artists that I work with in Iran accept this version of me better than the previous version of me.
You just mentioned that you've generally had a very positive reaction from Iranians. Now, we are a largely conservative society. Did you ever have any negative reactions?
I also had bad reactions immediately after the surgery, when I returned to the theater, cinema, and my work. Many believed I shouldn't be able to work because I had the procedure. I sat down with them and convinced them otherwise. I told them I had only changed my body, not my identity, not what's within me. I'm still that person. Many haven't come to terms with this, but I'm still doing what I do.
Saman Arastou, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Merci, Sana.
Now that's it for this edition of Middle East Matters. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on both Facebook and Twitter.